And so I was going down the rabbit hole looking at those in these different examples.
A lot of this language did evolve through history, really from the start of time, heavily used in Victorian era. And then after the Victorian era, we became less and less conversant in the language of flowers. We have some archetypal understandings, like in the West, chrysanthemums for Mother's Day, and in the East, chrysanthemums are the flower of the dead. So there's some sort of universal leftover understandings. The roses, the red roses for love and passion, the white roses for peace. But here's the thing, particularly when we look at the Victorian use of flowers, is it was through a gendered lens. So the opportunity is to use some of it, but also to fuck with it and rewrite it.
I also like that in some of these, you're starting to see not just flowers, but foliage as well. So like the fern is on this one, the maidenhair fern had all different herbs on it, which are much more sort of foliage oriented rather than florally oriented. And
Yeah.
that's also an option for the workshop too, is that it doesn't just have to be
Flowers. And you made me think then, Nick, because I'm looking at some similar references for a project that Anna and I are doing, which I'll share more details with you another time. But I'm just wondering whether, is there an Australian language of flowers? Because those language of flowers are often English, Eurocentric. So I've just put into my search engine, my Pinterest search engine, the Australian language of flowers. I'm not sure they've found it, but that's a reference we could look at. And then you could just make up your own.
Let me ask them.
Yeah, great idea.
Yeah, because particularly, I have a couple in the art space. They particularly would know. So I do have an artwork. I don't know this artist individually, but the motif is leaves. And there's a story behind the use of the leaves and the colors that she's used in that artwork. So I think there definitely is an Indigenous language around flowers and plants.
So what stops us from just using the flowers and foliage that we're attracted to and giving it our own language and saying, well, this is what we say it means. And sometimes when you mix up the historical and the archetypal understandings, whether it's Indigenous or Western, with then just saying, this is what I say it means, there's a juxtaposition in itself.